Buenos dias. Welcome. Welcome to Mexico, baby. We are here, Autodromo Ramos Rodriguez with Mr. Colombia.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you just did there, Rich, to be honest, but I will rumble with it. We're here for the Mexican Grand Prix, and we got a full grid once again, and we love to see that.
Love to see it again. Talk to me, Matt. I just need to check your voice back, please.
Amazing. We got the first cars coming out onto the track. I think the first one is, I would know if I brought up my track map. I think it might be Stubbsy, actually, who is the reigning champion, the man you would expect to be fronting the grid each week, but he won't be, because he's learning to drive with no racing line in this here league. And we saw him make some mistakes last week, which was nice. Sorry, Stubbsy. It was just enjoyable watching you not win for once.
Sorry, not sorry. I'm very happy to see Stubbsy suffer. He's one of the best in the game, of course. Reigning, defending, undisputed ROM champion of the world, as well as ABR Tier 1 champion, who now moved over to the dark side of Sync Motorsport. And he is here racing with no line, so he's going to have the odd stumble, fumble, whatever you want to call it, and maybe a few track penalties to boot as well. But we've got one retirement already, Matt. Anything in the chat regards to that? Is that a previous quali ban, anything of the sort? What are we thinking here?
I'm assuming quali ban because it was in the pits. I'm gonna go on the Discord a second, just check the stewards report from last week and see if there's anything worth noting. Beepers, that's a long one from Italy. Yeah, Aki has got a qualifying ban and a 10-second time penalty to be added to his race time.
Ay, caramba. That's a big one, mate.
Yeah, that's a massive penalty. To have the quali ban plus the 10-second penalty. That's big. Oh, well, not ideal for him. Might be one to forget before it's even started for Aki. We got cars already pushing on a lap. We got Stubbsy on a push. We got a couple Alfa Romeos going around. I'm following Stubbsy. I have no idea what the stream is on right now, Rich, so I don't know. Stubbsy is coming into the stadium section, swings it in, and I started to talk about his lap, and then he invalidated, which was just great. It's good to see that the commentator's curse is still with us, still around in the booth with me and Rich. That's been a long time.
If we're one thing, we're consistent. That's all you can say, you know. We're not biased because we've just got on board with the man B Ford, and he's done exactly the same. Vamos, boys, come on.
You know, I went on board with Pez and he invalidated too, so we really are picking them all off one by one today.
Killer instinct,
Wait.
boys.
We got a couple laps on the board. Pullen with a 115.2, immediately beaten by the Williams driver with a 114.5, and then Dunsworth at 116.0.
So quite a unique circuit, very high up above sea level. Does make for quite thin air, which does affect the cars in a number of ways. There is less oxygen like density, so you get less bang for your buck as it was, because you're getting less oxygen, and you need more parts oxygen than fuel in order to get your bang, give you your power. So the cars do tend to run a very low downforce configuration around here, even though you do have to have quite strong aerodynamics. Sorry, I got that wrong. They can run higher wings on the cars because of that lower air pressure, because you're higher up. And yeah, it's a real tricky one. Quite low abrasion as well, Matt, and quite slip and slide track. How do you like your car set up around here?
So that it stays on the track normally. The S's are the main thing you've got to set the car up for here in terms of stability and just making sure you can get through that sequence of corners. I don't even know how many laps this is, like 36 times in a row without having a spin or a collision with the barriers. But you've also got to bear in mind that there are these two massive straights back to back, so you've got to you know, you got to think about your straight line speed just a little bit.
We got a race already out of track. We got Pez, Maitland, and Dacey all going for sort of an afternoon picnic here around the circuit. All on an outlet.
Get some practice in for us then, Rich. Come on, this guy's Pez looking at the back of the Red Bull ahead of him. Can he make the move on the run towards the S's? He's in the slipstream. He's not going to get it done this time around, but we've got the Williams he's got to keep in mind as well in the background. Great racing here on this Mexico City circuit.
Maitland gets a good line out of there, a good exit. Pez a bit tardy on the power, a bit sideways, and the Williams has just backed out of it. He doesn't want anything to do with it, and he's just going to get a bit of free track as they're going to line up for a flying lap. Talking of flying laps, we've got the main man, Sink Stubbsy. He's down the main straight, one of the longest straights on the calendar, and a really long run down into turn 1. So P2 is not the worst place to be on this circuit to come through these first few corners. Really need to maximise the use of the curbs through there. Very easy to invalidate, especially on that outside exit curb there as well. Along this second DRS point, we do have 3 around this Autodromo Hamilton Rodriguez circuit. And coming into the tight, twisty Sector 2, where it's really about being nimble and not getting too heavy on that loud pedal, otherwise you're going to compromise a lot of exit time out of the corner. And currently we've got Vettel on a 13.9. Can Stubbsy match him? Of course, this man is running no line. He's quite new to it as well, so this is where it's going to be really tricky when you really need to thread the needle through these high-speed corners, and he does it very well, taking quite a short line, maximising the entry curbs here, and coming into this beautiful baseball stadium section, which is a very unique aspect of this Mexican Grand Prix here. Coming around this final corner, very easy to lose a lot of time, run it too wide, get on the power too early, but you'll get nicely, take a short run up to the line, and for Stubbsy, he goes fastest overall with a 13.513 to kick him off.
Yeah, and while that was going on, CSR Maitland did a spinala in the S's. He's made the barriers and he is out of qualifying. He was yet to set a time, so he will be at the back of the grid for the Mexican Grand Prix. He's got it all to do in the race.
So what's a less polite way of saying that he met the barrier?
Well, there's quite a few ways you could say it, but I think the one that you would be most pleased with would be Maitland has throttled it.
We love to hear it never gets old.
It never will get old. Did I hear, Rich, that little saying is on a T-shirt somewhere?
It is on a T-shirt and available on the Teespring Calendar Season Racing store. Grab your own piece of Mr. Collier history. And is Tommy getting impeded there by his teammate? It didn't look like it out the final corner. The other Ferrari of Celtic looked like he's disconnected or something. Looked like it cost Tommy a real bit of time. But yeah, jump over to teespring.com/calendar season racing to grab your own piece of merch if you feel like it. It just says don't bottle it. Been brewing since Monza 2018, I do believe.
They won't get the Monza reference. They silly peasants won't understand the pain.
Monza and Matt are forever connected, aren't you?
Yeah, I raced with Boom yesterday as well for the first time since that HSA season, and watching him lag about in front of me the flashbacks were there.
Here we go, we've got B Ford, formerly known as Rooney 2003, coming around the final few corners. One of the favourites on the grid, coming up to the line, and he's going to go fastest with a 13.334 with just over 8.5 minutes to go in this session. Who are your key contenders for pole here today, Matt?
The key contenders, obviously the top two, we saw them battling hard all of last season when they were fighting for the title, and it was Stubbsy who came out on top. You've got to factor in Dacey as well. We've seen him have some very strong racing in this early part of the season. I think Pez has got more to show, and a 14.2 watch for him late on in the session as well. Maybe James as well. He's not set a time, and he can normally be fairly fast.
Yeah, who is that? Should we say cocky Ferrari as well? Who is that? You remember Austin?
It's a I think you might be referring to Tommy Real.
Yeah.
Mr. Donuts before the finish.
He's the one playing up to the fans. He's a real showman. He's old Tommy Real, doing donuts before he's crossed the checkered flag on the last lap in P1 to cross the line P1 in Austin, Texas. That was a beautiful memory and will forever stick when we do visit there once again to COTA. So only a few cars yet set a lap time. Aki, of course, has been banned from qualifying due to earlier incidents in the previous Grand Prix. Then we've got Drazzy, who's coming around the final corner. So a lap time, expect something decent, and it is indeed a 13.7, which puts him up into P5. So it's only James currently in pit lane, Maitland who's bottled it, and Fronhoff P2. Very impressed. What do you think, man?
You'd love to see that from Thronhalf. He's 5/100ths of a second there away from the pole position. Very close indeed, and I think he will have time to do one more run as well. So expect him to be chipping away and perhaps taking that pole position. We saw a surprise pole last week in Drazzy. We saw that surprise win as well. Maybe we'll get another one here at the Mexico circuit.
A number of drivers have really stepped up to the plate this season and really improved their times, a lot more confident within themselves. Fronhoff definitely a standout for me, as well as Drazzy. Been really impressed with him. Celtic is looking good so far, good banker lap for him. Hopefully he can improve as well. Westerns always knocking on the door. Pez, you need to pull your finger out, mate. I'm not impressed with that, you know. You have a high expectations, shall we say.
Oh, Pez, disappointing. Little on-track update for you. RSF1 Vettel has gone for a spin out of turn 3. He's got it pointing in the right direction once again, but broke his front wing, so we'll be heading back to pit lane.
Vettel living up to his namesake, that's what you love to see.
Leave Vettel alone, Rich. It's hard enough being a Vettel fan watching the real F1. I do not need to see it here as well.
Stubbsy has invalidated his second attempt at it. Well, you know, I used to hate Vettel, but in recent years when he made that move to Ferrari, he did come of age. He came out a bit more his character, you know, again, a bit less cocky, you know, giving it less of the finger, a bit more vocal. A lot of British humour for a German as well.
Yeah, I too started to like him more when he came to Ferrari, but that's more just because I'm a Ferrari fan. So hated him when he was beating Ferraris, and then he started winning for them, and my opinion changed drastically.
And just before the final hoorah in qualifying, with just under 5 minutes remaining, just check in on the championship standings after 3 rounds. We had 3 rounds. I thought we had more. It's only 3 minutes.
We've had Russia and USA because they were both rain, and then yeah, Italy, only 3.
Yeah, and that's the sad news today, folks. You know, we're not going to have any perspiration, any sort of. There's going to be a lot of perspiration. Sorry, no rain as it is. Tommy Real in P8, 13.7. But in the championship, it is B Ford that now leads the championship on 48 points. Tommy Real in second on 43, tied with Drazzy on 43. And then we step down to Dacey on 34, who did miss the last Grand Prix. Then we've got Pez, Lawn, Fronhoff, Lucky Lambert, Yanni Jans, Sink Dyslexic, James Ludlow, Pullen, Stubbsy, Aki, Maitland, Westerns, Racing Carl, Shane and Vettel rounding out the top 20. We do have reserve drivers. We do have more than 20 drivers in this championship. But moving into the constructors, Ferrari lead the way on 71 to Mercedes on 65, 49 for McLaren. Then it's Alfa Romeo, Alfa Tauri, Williams, Haas, Renault, Racing Point and Red Bull.
Yeah, and it's going to be another one that Rooney will be looking to impress to build on the championship start that he's had. He is the favourite going into this season, you've got to say, but there's still plenty of drivers in this hunting him down and trying to beat him to the crown at the end of the season.
Yeah, how do you think he's going to handle the pressure? Because he's not had the best start to the season, and we've seen a lot of drivers improving. So do you think he's going to walk away with it this year, or what's your predictions?
He's not He's not walked away with it so far. I think it all depends on the consistency of other drivers. We've seen a lot of other people have one or two standout performances, but I think it's going to be that consistency that I think Rooney can bring that will give him the title at the end of the season. We'll see if he can bring that consistency. Obviously, we saw him have a disconnect in the USA. That wasn't his fault. And then he picked up that time penalty last week in Monza, which cost him a race win. Still some decent results for him.
James does now set a lap time, a 14.264. Who else we got on a flying lap? We currently got Vettel. This will probably be his last push time unless he's fueled for 2 time laps. And Dacey, Stubbsy and co leaving it late to come out the pit lane.
Yes, it's a short lap here, so you can go out quite late, but I wouldn't want to be going out any later than now. Yeah, still plenty of cars in the pits though.
And Vettel has now invalidated his lap time. Let's check in with the man currently in P2. It's front half. It was already a blistering lap time. He's coming through that fast flowing second sector. Can he improve? So coming into that third DRS activation point. He's got a car ahead of him, Mr. Ludlow. Move out the way. It was his teammate as well, and that has really put him off and invalidated, and he's going to be absolutely fuming.
There's not ideal team play there for the Alfa Romeos, as Perez is now retired from the session, so he lines up P12 at best. One thing I did notice watching Thronhardt though is he's got a car that looks very oversteering. And that might be fast in qualifying, but it could be so easy to make a mistake with a setup like that in the race. So he's going to need to be really consistent if he wants to bring home some good points. Got ROM B Ford, also known as Rooney, was not improving on his lap at the end of sector 1, so perhaps this might open the door to other drivers to take that pole position away. We'll see where he is come the end of sector 2, and he is still not improving, still a 10th down, although he did set a good middle sector. We'll see if he can build on that in the final part of the lap, the slow and technical section. Gentle with the throttle, very easy to spin the car here, and then you're turning all the way around to the line. Take the tightest line, it's the shortest one. Rooney doesn't improve, so the door is open to other drivers. Front half has invalidated again, he won't improve. Dacey is starting his lap, currently P3. Stubbsy's invalidated, so he will be P4 at best.
So it's over to the likes of Dacey and Coke, and Dacey, Drazzy, maybe Celtic even improve here and put themselves up on that front row, or maybe even a cheeky pole position. We're about to find out. Checkered flag is now out. Time to deliver, boys.
Dacey has a little lock up in the right hander there, but he's going to keep pushing here. The two ahead of him not going to improve. He only needs to find a 10th here to take pole position away from B Ford.
Top 3 separated by less than a 10th of a second. Just look at their margins. Beautiful driving. A great grid this year. Super competitive. You can see a second separates everyone down to around 16th position.
Yeah, comes Dacey up to the line. Can he take pole position? No, he can't. Improves his lap, but it won't be enough to advance his grid position. Vettel's backed off P5. Drazzy's invalidated, and I think that means that they're all done. Qualifying is complete. So
that's it. B Ford takes pole position here for the Mexican Grand Prix. Front half will be up alongside him. Then Dacey, Stubbsy, Vettel, Drazzy, Celtic, Tommy Real, Westerns, Givads. And we've got James who have the free tyre choice, along with Pez, Ludlow, Lucky Lambert, Yanni Jans, Lorne, Dunsworth, Pullen, Maitland, Mr. Bottle, and Aki.
Wow, look at the CSR drivers, Rich, down in 12th and 19th. That is poor from them. I think we need to be having words with them too.
Yeah, we're going to have a debrief.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll, Toto Wolff / Gunther Steiner style, we'll, we'll deal with them.
And whilst we have an interlude, we're going to have an upcoming League of Leagues, Matt. And we're looking for drivers from all different corners of the globe to come and take part in that. We're looking for some Irish drivers, so we might have to get Celtic in on the action.
Oh yes, we may do that. We got. I don't know if RSF on Vettel is actually German or if he just is trying to be Vettel. I don't know. I might have to get in contact with him as well.
We can make some fake documents. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, he's got German grandparents, great grandparents actually. I mean, from Germany, so he counts.
He counts. It's a done deal.
What team are you on for that? What one are you?
Ireland.
You are Ireland, okay.
Yeah. Thanks to my mother.
Thank you, mother skills.
Otherwise, I'd be in with those. Thanks to my father. And born in Blighty.
You love to see it. Yeah, Maitland's made up the excuse that he's doing a last question mark challenge, but I don't want to hear it. I saw him spin into the barriers.
That's a load of tosh, that is, mate.
Oh, Rich, it's not raining.
No, it's a beautiful day in sunny Mexico. Get your flip-flops on, get your tequilas out. It's time to salsa.
But wouldn't you think the day would be even more beautiful if it was raining?
Oh yeah. We're from England. We love a bit of rain, you know. Spices things up.
Everybody's favourite. You know, we don't complain about the weather here. We just enjoy the rain.
So we can confirm that Rooney will be starting the race on 1 lap older soft tyres. So it means he's gone for a second push lap on those tyres. Maybe he invalidated on the first attempt. So, you know, tyres, how critical are they around here, Matt?
Very. Tyre wear is quite high on this circuit, and I should imagine we're going to see several drivers choosing to start on the mediums and maybe even 1 or 2 on the hards. Because, yeah, the tyre wear is so high, we're going to see some drivers doing a 2-stop today, which is nice because we don't normally see that. So, yeah, expect to see a lot of different strategies.
Yeah, some will be opting to go on that, you know, maybe one stop. It's quicker on the 2, I would imagine. It's not the longest pit lane in the world. And it all come down to safety cars, of course. If we get a hint of a VSC or a safety car, drivers will choose to dive into pit lane because that will save them as much time as possible, as cars will be going past pit lane, not at maximum speed. And you always want to take advantage of that.
Yes, indeed you do. Mr. Ford on pole position. It's that long drag down towards the first corner here. It's like nearly a kilometre. So I'm not sure pole position is where you want to be. I think a lot of drivers are going to be right up behind him, using him for a bit of slipstream and then making the move into that first corner.
So if you're listening front half, vamos, send it down into turn 1. We need a smooth operation and a good overtake because, we don't want him to run away with it.
Yeah, that would be boring. We don't like watching boring races. Do interesting race. Got that? Good.
Padre.
I'm interested to see what Maitland does because he's got more pace than 19th on the grid. We'll just see if he can actually show that because he couldn't in quali. The Muppet.
Well, again, if he keeps it clean through the opening laps, starts maybe on the medium compound of tyre, maybe even a hard, which I wouldn't recommend. It's very risky starting on a hard tyre if you get early damage. You only have one set of hard tyres, so it can compromise your whole race. But maybe start on the medium, go deep into the race, jump them soft runners at a pit stop. Yeah, could come good for him. And as always, Matt, there's going to be two races today. There's going to be those keeping it clean, and there's going to be those racking up the penalties like their Skittles. So keep it clean.
It's the track limits Grand Prix. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities to pick up that penalty here. You got the first sequence of corners, that turn 1, 2, 3, where you're trying to muller those curbs as much as you can. Very easy to cut there, and then obviously in the S's, all you want to do is just straight line it, and that often leads to a few corner cuts. But we have got the green light from race control. The cars are getting ready to set off on the formation lap. Or at least we think the formation lap. Little do we know that perhaps Mr. Ford turned off the formation lap. Perhaps he wants the sneaky advantage.
And it's lights out!
It's lights out and away. Oh, no. Oh.
Ugh.
So as it turns out, Mr. Ford had left it on, and we have to watch a lap of the cars going around slowly.
So let's check in on the strategy. Interestingly enough, James in P11 does opt to start on the soft compound tyres. Then everyone behind him, apart from Dunsworth, is on the mediums. The top 10, of course, will be starting on their qualifying tyre, which will heavily hinder them. You can already see quite high tyre wear. You can really tell with this year's tyres, they're super shiny when they're fresh out the box. And after even one lap of scrubbed, they are really like that matte sort of colour, etc. But it's B Ford on the front row. He's got front half, very impressive front row start for him in the Alfa Romeo. Then we've got the Williams of SLR Dacey, looking very quick early on in this campaign, a super clean driver, and really impressed us in Kota with some super overtaking manoeuvres. And we've got last year's champion Sink Stubbsy. He's going to have to try and plod along, I'd say, today without no line, and try and keep it super clean, avoid them penalties. Then we've got Vettel in that Red Bull, rejuvenated in his original team. And we've got Drazzy. Celtic has already made a quick exit to the start grid. And we've got Tommy Real, Westerns, Givads, James, Pez, Ludlow, Lucky Lambert, Yanni Jans, Lorne, Dunsworth, Pullen, Maitland, Aki at the back of the grid. So, buenos dias! Welcome to Mexico, baby! This is time for the Mexico Grand Prix! And Mr. Connebeer will lead us off.
Indeed, I shall. Although Celtic perhaps feels like he should be leading them off because he just wanted to get to that grid extra early. He's had a bit of a contact with someone that he shouldn't have done and has been sent straight back to the grid. He'll be starting on cold tyres and may fall backwards from his P7 grid slot. The cars are pulling into position, and it is Mr. Ford, as we must now call him, not Rooney, don't get them confused, on pole position. And it's Aki after his quali ban. He's got a 10-second penalty already coming into this race, which might be a bit disheartening, but he's going to fight it out all the way. And he's in position now as we wait for the lights to go on ahead of the drivers for the Mexican Grand Prix. Drivers just sort of sync up here. Makes this little awkward gap that I have to talk through. We should have some like dramatic music for this bit next time. Or something like that. See, this is why you commentate with Rich. He sorts everything out for you like that. He knows what he's doing.
Vamos!
You know what? I'm just gonna. We've been sat here a while. Let's get some dramatic music up on my phone.
Everybody press the Xbox button if you're listening and you're in the race, and then press B and we should be good to go.
Let's go on YouTube. Dramatic music. What comes up first? Best dramatic music ever? Yes, please. You have to give me a minute, Rich. My phone is being a bit slow. This is...
The suspense is killing me.
Oh, we're going to get an ad. I don't know what this is for. give us a minute.
Welcome to Mexico, baby. If you like pina coladas.
Oh, here we go. We got an advert.
Hey.
I don't know what this is for.
We do not endorse this advertisement that you're now hearing. Okay, this is not in any way associated with the Republic of
It's a
Motorsport.
man.
And
man
maybe
holding...
Celtic speed. Here we go.
Oh, it just started. Here we go. 5 lights on ahead of the drivers. And we are finally racing, and it's B Ford who's going to lead them away, but he's swirling off the start, and he's already got it.
Restart.
He's dropped it off the line. Okay.
I'm assuming that was Vamos.
I mean, if there's a restart, then all is fine. It must be, because he's left the session. Oh, it's carnage in the background. It's a demolition derby. The restart is imminent. They're all hitting the barriers.
Holy moly.
You know what, Rich? I literally got to the end of the advert. The dramatic music started, and then I just saw the lights, and I was like, for God's sake. So good. Yeah, well, that was an excellent start. We will now do a lobby restart, which is always fun.
Oh, safety car's out. He's just hunting down the McLaren here. Safety car gets a good exit out of the first sequence of corners. And you just see the straight line speed of McLaren just allows him to pull away. And he's got past Aki now.
Well,
some drifting going on in the stadium section. Stubbsy's around. Everyone stops. Stands to attention.
Oh, it's a lovely move for Ludlow. Goes down the outside of absolutely everyone. And he's made up places, but he's going slowly. What has happened here to Ludlow? Oh, he's down the inside. What a move. I think he's one of the only people left here, not ghosted. Oh, Stubbsy in the barriers. It's all over for Stubbsy. And now Ludlow has gone as well.
And apparently I must be signed into Xbox Live. And I'm still talking to you. Congratulations, Codemasters. Another dub. Another dub.
Oh, Vettel's just slammed into the back of the safety car. It's... my goodness. He was brake tested there by Bernd Mailander. That's what that was. Unbelievable, Jeff.
And I think we need to reassure the audience, Matt, that anyone who's just tuning in, this is not the league race that is actually taking place. They are much more professional than this. This is just a restart. Just having some fun, letting off some steam.
No, this is the standard ROM racer. They really are terrible. I don't know why we're here, Rich. This is just bad for our reputation.
I mean, honestly.
What are we doing?
Is this racing or ping pong? So, restart for everyone. They will have to stick to their strategies, but this will be a key thing now, Matt, is that all of the soft runners get a fresh soft, especially that man on pole position.
Yeah, he had me excited there with his wheel spin off the start, and I was like, oh, he's done a stupid. And then you said restart, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
The killer of dreams. ROM B Ford. It's 2020.
Aye. Well, this does create a nice little gap that we have to talk through. We got 3 spectators for a second there. That was nice. Something of note that came out in this past week. We got the trailer for Drive to Survive Season 3. How are you feeling about that one? You excited for it?
Oh, that's going to be fantastic. What a season we've had. I mean, it was so on edge, even them first couple of rounds around the Red Bull Ring. A lot of drivers going in with limited running. There was a massive gap between the testing session over in Catalonia, which I attended, and then the first Grand Prix, which was all the way... When did we kick off? Was it in June?
July.
July, can you believe it? So drivers were extra rusty, plenty of mistakes, plenty of frills and spills. Lando grabbing that podium fastest lap on the last lap as well. I mean, there's so many talking points throughout that season, and just hope Netflix were in the right garage at the right time and had the right access, because of course COVID social distancing would have hampered some of it, but it's going to make for great viewing, Matt.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. We're going to get the Perez win, the Russell and the Mercedes Gasly's win, Stroll on the podium, pole position. I mean, we've both got podium and pole confused there. That was quite funny. What else have we had? We've got Lewis breaking a load of records, although that seems
crossing the line on 3 wheels.
Now. He did cross the line on 3 wheels at one point. Hulkenberg. What else? We had the Red Bull mechanics in Hungary.
Fittipaldi's race debut.
Whatever they make of the Grosjean thing, obviously, I hope they don't over-dramatise that one too much. It was dramatic enough.
Yeah.
As
Not
it
the
is.
incident itself, focus on the driver, maybe his faults. Yeah, and there's quite a lot of drivers that did leave us. Of course, who did we lose this year? Magnussen, Kvyat, Grosjean himself. That's it.
Yeah. I think that is all that we have lost. Yeah, and Albon. Rest in peace, Alexander Albon.
Yeah, Alex Albon. Very sad to see, of course, demoted to test reserve driver. You know, back in the factory on the rig, the sim, whatever you want to call it. And that was quite dramatic throughout the year. The amount of pressure they put him under, compromising his strategy, also having the second best car set up, mechanics, and everything positive thrown behind Max Verstappen. You know, I really feel for Albon. Be very interesting this year how Perez gets along, and what you expecting from Sergio in a Red Bull, Matt.
Big Sergio in the Red Bull. It really just depends how that team is set up. We know Sergio is a fast driver. We know he's got the experience now to be in a top team and be able just to get on with it and win races if he's given the car. So it'll be time we can actually see what's going on at Red Bull, and we'll be able to see if it's the drivers that have been the issue or if it's the team that have caused the trouble.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I don't think it's all one and not the other. I do think Perez going in with a more sort of stubborn attitude. You know, he's been there, done it. He's got the experience. He's got that swagger. He knows what he's talking about. He's a proven, podium winner, race winner now as well. And I think he won't take any, the word. And he'll really throw his toys out the pram if it's not going out his way, and make Red Bull dance to his tune a bit more than the previous second drivers of Gasly, Albon, etc.
No, Rich, I actually don't know the word that shh. Are you telling me to be quiet or?
Scheiße!
There we go. Yeah, good save. What else have we got going on? We got Vettel and Aston Martin, which we're all hyped to see. I'm hyped to see the Aston Martin livery as well. I want to see if they do it properly or whether they ruin it with sponsors or something.
I mean, yeah, the livery, the merch. I'm looking forward to the merch as well. I was quite disappointed with the AlphaTauri. I think it was very clean, very nice last year, and they've gone a bit over the top with it this year. And it's not massively different, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. What else we've had? McLaren, spot the difference.
There's a bit of blue on the nose cone. That's right, I could see the difference.
And of course the McLaren Mercedes this year, that is a lot more tightly packaged around just behind the driver, so that the wider part of the car is now a bit slimmer. She's gone from a size 10 down to a size 8. And I think they're going to be quite compromised, Matt, as well, the McLaren this year, because they've had to use a lot of their tokens, their development tokens throughout last year, save them all up to really incorporate that Mercedes engine into their design, their chassis, etc. So it may not be the best year for them. They've taken huge strides in the last couple of seasons, but let's be quietly optimistic, I'd say, for them.
Yeah, I think they'll be benefited by. There's obviously been very minimal development for other teams as well. So there's no one else making massive gains, and hopefully they can take advantage of the power gains and the reliability that will come with the Mercedes engine, which will put them on a par now in terms of engines with their rivals last season, Racing Point, now Aston Martin.
Talking of reliability, there's been a few rumours floating around that the Mercedes is not bulletproof. We do tend to hear this in pre-season. Maybe it's because they have it turned up to the max and then they just dial it back for the actual race events itself. But that's yet to be seen. Of course, Mercedes powers the majority of the grid. Ferrari now only powers itself, Haas and Alfa Romeo. Then we have the Alpine Renault engine, which only supplies itself, and we have two Honda teams. The big news as well is that Aston Martin has purchased all of the Honda technology, and they will be using that beyond next season, which was a key consideration as well. And they've basically taken on all of the manpower, the facilities, and they'll be building their own engines.
Yeah, and that'll be a first for that team. It'll be really interesting to see how they get on with it. I assume they're effectively just, it'll be the same people. It won't be named Honda now. It'll just be Red Bull Motor, whatever they've named it.
Yeah, it'll be basically be a Honda, but they'll put a sticker over the top of it and call it whatever sponsor pays the highest amount. So it might be Coca-Cola. No, it won't be Coca-Cola, will it, of course, because it's Red Bull racing, but it might be Red Bull Gillette.
Powered by Coca-Cola.
Yeah, the best the man can get, or something. You never know.
We'll have to freaking tag her engines again, or whatever it was a few years back.
Yeah, that's a good option. So it'll be interesting if we get a formation lap.
Oh, yes. Will we have a formation lap? Maybe Mr. Ford turned it off in the hopes that no one would realise, while he launches off the line and dances away into the race lead.
No formation.
Meanwhile.
So, welcome to Mexico Grand Prix, the Autodromo Ramos Rodriguez. Buenos dias, vamos. Let's go, Matthew.
Richie did just say every Spanish word he knows. There is a formation lap, Rich, alright? You know, get your facts, okay?
I'm just gonna leave.
You've commentators cursed that one. We're going to check the tyres as well and just make sure that none of the top 10 have been a bit sneaky and gone for something different. And they haven't. Good. We're missing some drivers as well. We've only got 18. Who's not here? We're missing a Haas. Are we? Stubbsy's not here. He has ABR Tier 1 though in a bit, so perhaps wasn't ready for time delay. And who else? Am I being a bit blind here?
No, I am. I'm not very good to spot the difference.
Well, I know you were asking me about the McLaren earlier, and it was quite obvious, Rich. The blue on the nose cone. Come on, I remember these things.
Oh yeah.
A Renault. One of the Renaults is missing. The one that isn't Yenny-Yans. That is Dunsworth. There we go. Got it.
We've got Celtic back. Yeah, big Celtic back in the house.
You know, there's 2 spaces, Rich. I think you know what we need to do.
It's too late for that. We should have been keeping close attention, otherwise we would have sneaked in, boys. In the back door. Not like that, either.
Rip.
Not like that. Not what you think.
Jesus, Rick, calm it down, alright? I don't want to hear any of that.
Welcome to
You keep
Mexico.
that to yourself.
The Autodromo Ramos Rodriguez. We're going to hand over to Mr. Cornelier for the race start for round 4 of the Republic of Motorsport. Let's get it on.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus, Rich, calm it down with this. Get it on and doing the back. You need to just stop talking, alright? You've done enough for today. Unbelievable, this guy. I mean, yeah, that's what I thought. Celtic pulls into P18 and last on the grid. I don't know if he's meant to be back there or not, but here we go. And we wait on the grid once again. I'm getting the dramatic music ready, Rich. Where did I put my phone? There it is.
turning into more of a showcase than a race. But okay.
I hope there's no copyright on this, else we're just really screwing them over right now.
Down into turn 1. Lean forward, holds the lead. Front half. Slots it. There we go.
Oh, Rich, we're going. Shut up, Rich. You're ruining the start. 5 lights on ahead of the drivers, and it is finally lights out and away we go. And it's a decent start for Ford, or is it? Because he's got wobbly off the line, and that's allowed Daisy to get alongside as they head down towards the first corner. There's contact in the background as the Williams in the wall there. Daisy still challenging into turn 1, down the inside. Can he take the lead away from Mr. Ford? And he has done. Squeezes him at the apex of turn 2, and that's Daisy into the race lead. But Mr. Ford right up behind him, looks to the inside as they now run on the long track down towards turn 4. With the inside for Ford is going to go for that, locked up. The Williams leaves him plenty of space, and that might invite him to switch back, but he then slams the door on the outside, and that's Daisy through into the race lead from P3 on the grid, and Thron half as well now down the inside at turn whatever number that is. He's got done and he's ahead going into the S's. Mr. Ford down to P3.
Front half, he was really opportunistic, threw his hat into the ring there, saw a gap, sent it, and a great move there. And Ford really suffering off the line there, moving down 2 positions, but the big loser was the Williams at the back of the grid, which was Givads with a terrible start. Some big damage on the Williams there, missing half of the front nose, and we've already got a 3-second time penalty for Mr. Vettel.
Yeah, I saw him go a bit deep in going into that stadium section, had to cut the corner to avoid a collision and ignore the time tower. It's having a meltdown once again. DRS has not been enabled either. We are on lap number 2 as we got a car in the pits there. I think that's good. As Vettel sends one to the inside there on Rooney. Couldn't quite get it done though. We'll have to wait for another opportunity as he's swerving away on the exit there. He's in the slipstream. Can he maybe think about making the move into turn 4? No, he can't, so he remains in that P4 position.
There's battling going on in the background. I don't know who's who at the minute because we got Ghost in. The timing tower's having a meltdown as well, but it looks like Daisy leads the way from front half. Ford, then it's Vettel, Perez, Strazzi, Weston's Tommy Real, James Cullen, Ludlow, Lambert, Lorne, Aki, Maitland, Yannian, Celtic, and Givads at the back of the pack.
Tell you what, Rich, that dramatic music we put on there, it's having an effect. It's cost Mr. Ford the lead. He couldn't handle the pressure. And I think we're going to do that every week now, just because it creates good race starts apparently. We've got Aki's made up places as well from his back of the grid stop. Maitland not making the progress I thought he would have done in those opening stages. He's currently P15. Pez made up good ground, P5 at the moment, and he's already looking to take on Mr. Vettel.
So again, how is the ERS usage around here, Matt? And is it something to watch out for? Is it easy to expend all of your energy?
Yes. There's 2 long straights and it's very easy just to hit the button. You don't want to be doing that because then you waste all your battery and no one likes doing that.
James having a look at Tommy's rear end. Ferrari running a bit deep. Should allow the racing point to get on the power nicely. He's going to have the inside now along this tight and twisty section, and that is James up into P8. A good move for the racing point.
The Ferrari leaving lots of space on the inside there, perhaps a little bit too much, and the racing point of James up into P8, and that's another penalty for Vettel already. He's already on 6 seconds and we're only on lap 3.
Daisy already looking pacey out front. Already got a 1.4 second margin. And the highest of the medium runners is currently Ludlow, down in P11. He's made up some ground early on. Looking good.
Here comes Ford, passing Thron half. Thron half just not got the pace in the early stages of this race. And he's now down into P3. Rooney, I've done it already. Ford up into P2. Good stuff there for the McLaren driver, and now it's Vettel's turn to have a go at Thron half, and he is going to go for it, I think, here. on the run up to turn 4. Look to the inside. Is he going to send one? He's gone late on the brakes, down the inside. Little bits of contact there at the apex, and that'll be the inside line for Thron Half, and he will maintain P3 for the time being, although Vettel having another look on the inside. There's some contact there. Vettel and Thron Half just holding position for now, or are they? Because now Vettel's going to go down the inside into the S's. Don't go side by side here, guys, and they aren't going to. Vettel backs out. Thron Half maintains P3, and Vettel will have to tuck in behind for P4. I think while that was going on, we had some racing between Pez and Drazzy as well.
He says he's going to tuck it in, but he's looking to send it at the first available opportunity. We've got a yellow flag. Someone gone around. Okay, wheel to wheel into the hairpin. Vettel front off through the final few corners. Wheel to wheel. Pez has made up a position as well, up into P5, who's having a great battle in the background with Drazzy. And all this time, B Ford is making up the ground, sets the fastest lap time of the race so far. And here comes Vettel. He knows he's got to do it early on. He has to hang on to these leaders. They're already 3 seconds behind the lead of this race now. And Vettel has 6 seconds worth of penalties. You can see the cars behind them closing in. And it's Vettel who gets that to final spot on the podium and down into turn 1. But front half's going to get a good exit, kisses the rear end now, Vettel. And look at this now, Pez, Drazzy and Weston's all ready to throw their hat into the ring.
It's Pez who will have no DRS, but it's going to be Drazzy who sends one on the inside of Pez. Didn't see that coming. I thought Pez was going to make the move on front half. It's Drazzy then, the winner last time out. He was having a good look at the back of the AlphaTauri. Can't make the move. Pez slots into P5. Thron Half will hold on to P4 for now. And it's Vettel who, even with his penalties, is now fronting this train.
Yeah, but that battling has cost them an extra 1.5 seconds. The gap to the leaders now 4.6 seconds. And here comes Drazzy, wants to have a look around the outside of Pez, who just covers the line nicely. And I think B Ford is going to be in striking distance.
Yeah, he's you caught me right in the middle of a yawn there. That was nice.
Is it that boring for you, man? I hope not.
No, it's not boring, because here comes Ford to the outside of turn 1, and he looks like he's already made the move to get himself back into the race lead after a poor start, and he has. The McLaren retaking the race lead, and he'll have the DRS on the second of the 2 straights as well. Although saying that, Dacey's having a look on the outside. He'll have to go late on the brakes if he wants to get it done this way. He's not quite going to go late enough, and he'll have to tuck in behind once again. And another lock up on the inside front there. Good driving though for the 2 leaders.
And this is the sector where it's going to call it Rooney again, but B Ford is really going to want to try and break away. It looks like he's got the pace, and if you can break the DRS around here, it's going to stand you in good stead. You'll be able to manage your tyres a bit more, manage them track limits, and yeah, not have so much pressure on your shoulders. But it's only currently half a second as we come into the stadium section. Of course, 3 DRS detection points around here. Maitland picks up a 3-second time penalty as we come around to finish lap 6, start lap 7, and B Ford leading the way. He's made himself back into that leading position which he lost early on in this race, and it looks like he's got some excellent pace now.
Dacey with the DRS is going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1. I don't think he is. He'll be a bit too far behind. As we check to the little battle behind them as well. Is Pez going to maybe think about a move on Thron Half? Can Thron Half get Vettel? I don't think they can. They're all going to stay line of stern. But we were talking about the track limits Grand Prix. My goodness, I'd say at least 2/3 of the grid have already picked up a penalty.
Yeah, we're not even a third of the way through the race yet, so long way to go. Dacey and Ford looking good, and Pez as well. If he can just plod along here, front half really chucking the back end around there. You said about he's looked quite oversteery during the qualifying session, and you could really see it there, looking very loose.
Maitland has just made up a place on lawn. He's down in P15. Is Maitland not making much progress from his grid position? They'll be looking to make up more ground as the race goes on. Is he still racing with bad wheel, by the way?
Yes, he is. He's got one of his shifters, which is unfortunately malfunctioning for Maitland. Oh, Maitland.
Maitland! Currently P15 with a broken down shifter, and is he's having to use a button. Here
comes Dacey
on his wheel
for the lead of the race. He's going to squeeze the inside line down into turn 1. Sorry about But this is going to go on for a long time. It's going to to and fro all the way to the flag, I feel, Matt. And it's this time Dacey that gets the upper hand. But here comes Ford. He's got a good exit out of that corner. But the Williams still got the DRS here.
Doesn't matter because the McLaren's still going to go latest on the brakes down the inside into turn 4, switches to turn 5. The McLaren again just launching off the corner much nicer. Dacey will leave the space for Rooney on the inside. Who's going to get the better traction off the exit? Dacey just avoids the grass there, and he looks like he'll have the inside for the S's. Rooney's holding it around the outside there. Was risky, but it's paid off because the Williams gave the respect. And meanwhile, while all that was happening, Stronhardt P3, Pez now P4, Vettel down to P5, and Drazzy still P6. And we've got even more battling in behind them as well, I think, because there's been a lot of stuff going on the timing tower. Maitland up to P14. A few more drivers picking up those time penalties as well there. Do you want to just check the penalties graphic already? I feel like there's been some significant changes since the start.
Yes, the front half on 3, Vettel 6, Drazzy 3, Weston 6, James on 3 as well as Celtic, Tommy, Lucky Lambert, Maitland's got 6 and Aki on 3.
Yeah, and we got Drazzy making the place on Vettel. Yeah, there was a big squeeze towards the inside of the track there, but nicely done for Drazzy to put himself up in a P5. Pez now all over the back of Stronhardt, and can he get this move done on the run up to turn 4?
There's a few trains around the circuit. This is the battle for their final step on the podium, and front half is going for it. Pez wants it. It looks like he's got the pace as it stands, and he's going to lock wheels. It's Alpha Tauri versus Alfa Romeo, and the Tauris come out on top. And look at this, Drazzy's trying to squeeze his way through, muscle pass, but he's not going to get it done, and that's going to leave him susceptible to Vettel. He wants to have a little nibble on the rear end there. Out front though, B Ford is hovering around that 1 second margin. He's almost broken the DRS margin, and this is going to be critical right now. When do we expect them to pit, Matt?
Those on the soft tyres very soon. They won't last long around here. The soft tyres doing very second hand. Medium tyre runners will go a lot longer. They can probably get to around that 15 towards 20s. I've just seen Ludlow down the inside of Tommy Riddle. Nice move there as they went into the stadium section, and now they're racing at the back as well there. Maitland capitalises, but Stronhardt has just dropped places. Well, I've seen because we've got cars already in pit lane.
Yeah, pulled the trigger early on. Maybe looking at a cheeky 2-stop around here. You don't want to get them fresh tyres on ASAP and make full advantage of them. And out front we've got Drazzy all over the rear end here as well of Pez. And Pez still manages to hold on to P3. We're going to have DRS once again. Here comes the Mercedes down the inside. Pez brakes nice and deep. Holds on to the position, and it's Vettel. Look at them. Look how close they are, the three of them. My goodness. So class driving on display here today, and Dacey doing a good job to stay in that 1 second buffer.
Dacey has just picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and that could prove costly here in this Mexican Grand Prix. He's the first of those leading 3 to pick up a time penalty, and that will cost him in his battle with Ford. Look, cars side by side in the S's, Poland and Maitland. Going wheel to wheel. Maitland gets a move done in the S's, and as Mr. Rooney has come into the pits.
Leader in the box, so Dacey stays out, and it's going to be crucial now if Mr. Ford comes out into traffic. Let's see where he's going to come out, and we've got a yellow flag. What's going on here now?
I think Givitsab has had enough, as has Lorne. They're both going slowly at the back there. I think it might have just been Lorne because Givitsab's are way off the pack. And
he's going to come out just behind Sam. Maitland, sorry.
They don't know who Sam is, Rich. Come on, get your names right.
Oh, stop, Governor. Apologies.
You got Celtic who boxed as well. That he's come out down in P15, and he would be hoping for some clear air back there, but he won't get it because he's already up and behind the Mercedes. And it's Dacey. Is he going to react this lap, or will he go a bit further now?
Oh, he's just touched Maitland on the side pod there. Almost lost the back end. And sorry, what was the question?
Is Dacey going to box this lap, or is he going to extend further?
Do He's looking at the one stop. Maybe he's going to extend further, but about to find out. He's in the box. Comes Rooney.
In the box as Rooney's making a move. We both just called him Rooney at the same time there. That's poor from us. Mr. Ford makes the move on Maitland, and he's sorry. Mr. Ford makes the move on Maitland and puts himself up in a P5, and that might help him just to ensure he comes out ahead of Dacey. He'll now get the DRS on Ludlow. Where is Dacey? There he is, coming out of the pits, and it's going to be so close. He moves right across to get the slipstream. He's gaining on him so fast there, and he has put himself up into second place ahead of Dacey, who comes very aggressively across Ludlow there. He didn't want to lose the position to the Alfa Romeo, and he just holds on to P3, which will become P1 and P2 when Lucky Lambert makes his stop.
Yeah, crucially there, Lucky Lambert at the front of the train is giving some DRS there to your net race leader down the inside. Maitland in the background has been contact. That's Ludlow. Oh, both late on the brakes there, and Maitland is pulled over to allow the other cars through.
Yeah, Maitland's pulled over a lot. He's got a 10-second penalty for exceeding
front
track
half
limits
as
there.
well. Touching Ludlow there. I don't think he realised how much damage Ludlow had, and the two Alfa Romeos really compromising each other. Now we've got a yellow flag in sector 2. It looks like
Vettel's
Vettel.
gone. He's spun it in the S's. Just like his teammate did in qualifying. Vettel's done it in the race. I don't know whether he did that on his own or he tried to go side by side with someone. But he's spun, he's down to P15. Really costly. I'm surprised with all the slow moving cars there. The game didn't give us like a VSC or something. Yeah, normally it would have done. Dacey's managed to clear Lucky Lambert, as has Ford. So they're now running at P1 and P2. Nice to see as we've got yellow flags at the end there. Maitland retires. I think that's in the pits, is it?
Yeah, that is in pit lane, so that shouldn't throw out a safety car.
It's a virtual safety car, however.
Anyone
Nice.
in pit lane will benefit from this, so your lucky day, Mr. Ludlow and Tommy Real. They've chosen to box out at exactly the right time.
Were they boxing? Scheduled stops, or did one of them have damage? Have a look. They were both first stops, so I don't know if one of the Alphas had damage after we saw some of that contact. But yeah, that was their first stop as Ludlow.
No, Ludlow.
Yeah, not what we need. He's picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. It's so easy to do. You just have to be a thousandth of a second over the delta when the course goes green. You will pick up a drive-through, and it's just so beneficial just to leave a margin of half a second if you have to, just to make sure you don't pick up that drive-through. Definitely worth it, and that is unfortunate for Mr. Ludlow. He'll need a safety car now to bring him back into this.
And Dacey has managed to stay with the lead of the Grand Prix after the pit stops there. Looks like Mr. Ford giving it everything down the straight, but Pez gets past up into P5 now, and he's really lost.
We got Drazzy as well, looking down the inside. Sorry to cut in again. I just saw a Mercedes sending one down the inside like a madman. He's picked up a time penalty while doing it. Yeah, decent send there from Drazzy. It's already happening. Look on Pez. Down the inside, lock up on the inside front, but he's got it stopped, and Vettel has retired, and that is on track.
That is on track, and that is a potential safety car. Yes! Safety car deployed. Sorry to be so excited, chaps, and apologies to Vettel. But this is great for us. This is great for the viewers.
Yeah, you were a little bit too excited about Vettel's DNF there. But I don't blame you, because we love a good safety car here. And that's going to bring Ludlow right back into this one. I think he had just then served his drive-through as well. So that's very good for him. He's now free to close up to the back of the pack and get his race back on track.
The leader stays out, as well as Dacey. Anyone going to try and box and go to the end of the Grand Prix? We don't think these mediums will take it there. Lucky Lambert is going to dive into pit lane. Will it be a fresh set of mediums or a set of hard tyres? We're about to find out. Front half follows him in. Drazzy appears to stay out and picks up P3. It looks like hard tyres going on Lambert here.
Worked out really nicely for Lucky Lambert. He hadn't made his pit stop yet. He started on that set of medium tyres, He took them all this way, and now the safety car allowed him to come out in P8. It's hard tyres, and they won't be too nice to drive here to the end. But he's in good position now, with the cars ahead still having to make another pit stop.
Yeah, I think the leaders may live to regret that.
To be fair, they had pitted fairly recently, but like you say, it might have been worth boxing for hards to the end maybe, or even could fresh mediums do it? I think it might be a bit of it. I mean, I don't know actually. Fresh mediums might have made it now on the low fuel. I reckon that might have been a decent call.
Well, we will find out soon.
Yes, we will let the story of this race play out, and I will just warn you, Rich, because I have just looked at the time. I may have to leave you a little bit early today.
No problemo, my friend. Matt is going to be summoned.
Still lucky Lambert pick up a penalty for track limits under safety car, and that is going to cost him 3 seconds added to his race time, and this is not what you want to see.
So congratulations so far to B Ford, Pez, Yanni Jans, Lawn for keeping it clean so far. Only drivers yet to do so.
Yeah, lots of penalties, all coming quite early on as well. It's the dude whose name I can't pronounce. I'm gonna go with Gvidabs. Close enough. Is he still here, or what's going on with him? He's 5 laps down. He's not. Don't really know what's going on there.
Looks like he's in the house. The light's on, but no one's home by the look of it.
Yeah, maybe some connection issues. Yeah, it's normally what you get with Boom. He ends up like 6 laps behind everyone, even though he's leading the race or something like that.
Yeah, it should correct itself come the end of the Grand Prix. It looks like he's currently P14, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see.
Or P15, that would be on it.
Cool. We're going to see. They're all in the train, so safety car in theory should come in at the end of this lap. We'll find out normally when it gets to the split between the second and third sector. That's normally where you get the announcement, and there it is. Safety car to come in this lap.
Here we go. Drivers will be getting that final bit of temperature into the tyres. That's why you'll see them moving around, just trying to scrub that surface of the tyre, across the surface of the track, sorry, and warm up the brakes as well. That's going to be critical down towards turn 1. You don't want to have cold brakes down there, otherwise you're going to go straight on, baby. And Drazzy looking pretty good here, currently P3 on a fresh set of soft tyres. He's really going to throw his hat into the mix here, as it's going to be a critical traction zone out the final corner. And you can see drivers really struggling to get on the power, but it's a good restart for Dacey. He's still with B Ford. And is he going to have a look down into turn 1? He's in the slipstream. All the drivers are going to be on the button. And you know Drazzy, he's been lethal so far. He's been sending it at the last opportunity. But unfortunately, no positions made. And Drazzy's touched the rear end of Dacey. He's got damage.
Drazzy, he had the speed there, and he just thought he would try and go late on the brakes, and it's cost him. And he's now down to P6. He's picked up another penalty on track limits. He's got a broken front wing, and his race has been ruined by that silly little mistake there. Very easy to do on the restart. You just think you can get the guy ahead. You hit the brakes a touch too late, and then there's nothing you can do. You just sort of watch yourself fly into the back of the car ahead, and he is now going to have to make a pit stop because he's losing so much time. Oh, Pez picks up 3 seconds.
Back. It looks like we've lost him.
Yeah.
Muchas gracias. Here we go, yellow flag, sector 2. Looks like just a slow moving vehicle at this point in the race. And Celtic speed now, dropping down the order like a stone. Looks like he's still in the house. Quite sure it happened, maybe a moment there. Up ahead we've got a nice little battle brewing here, 4.5. Closing up on Pullen. He's going to pull out. At the outside land, down into one, which will then become the inside and the outside once again, once he's got the move done.
Yes, we got that one done before the corner, and oh, the timing tower's doing a madness, or is it sorting itself out there? I think it's just fixed itself. Putting Celtic back up into P6, where he belongs. Tell you what, Mr. Ford has not exactly pulled away off this restart. And Dacey still within the DRS. Pez in the DRS of him, and there's a little gap back to Weston's. But that can still all change by the time the DRS gets enabled.
Let's just have a look at Lambert and Fronhoff, both with 6 seconds of penalties, and this might be their downfall actually, because they're on the hard tyre. They can go to the end of the Grand Prix. That's a lot of penalties already.
Yeah, really halfway through this race now, and so expect a lot more drivers to pick up penalties, but you know, you don't want to be picking up penalties at that rate, because it's just going to cost you. Come the checkered flag, and it'll be those drivers who've kept it clean all this time who will win the race. So I'm actually just going to have a quick check and see how many warnings the leader has picked up, because he's not picked up a time penalty. He's got no warnings.
Unbelievable, Jeff. Unbelievable.
He's kept it so clean. He, at the moment, is looking set to take the victory here. Oh, Weston looks getting very slidey coming out there of turn 5. Good thing his teammate wasn't closer, else he would have probably gone for the move there. And yes, he's left the session.
Yes.
Oh, I've got to type in his name.
Vidasb.
Okay, thank you. Trying to do it from memory was not fun. Send invite. Hopefully we get him back in the session. We assume that was just a connection issue, not him choosing to leave.
So we go as we head into lap 20 or 36 at the Autodromo James Rodriguez and the Mexican Grand Prix here for the Republic of Motorsport, round 4, and it's your championship leader that leads the way as front half gets past Lucky Lambert and now up into P4 in the battle of the hard runners, as we do have a retirement in pit lane. It looks like Aki has given up the go.
Yeah, he has pulled into the pits and decided he's had enough of this one. He did have that 10-second time penalty hanging over his head from last week as well, so not ideal for him. Weston's picks up another Lee second time penalty.
No one close enough to make a move as we come into the stadium section, but James, he also has the DRS and defending off from Celtic here, and a few close battles out on track. We expect the leaders to make another pit stop sometime soon. Most of them starting on the softs. They can go medium, back to the soft. It's entirely up to them now. They've used both compounds of tyres.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing a few people going for the
Here we
softs
go.
at the end actually. But here comes Dacey down the inside into turn 1. Had to go very tight to the inside there. Ford, I almost sliced his wing off there, but he tried to get the switchback on Dacey. They're now back onto the second of the 2 back straights, and it's gonna be Dacey who just flies away and into the race lead for the time being. But it's a send up the inside there for Ford, but he can't get it done, and he'll tuck in behind once again.
So confident on the brakes, can brake so deep, can be Ford, and almost caught Dacey out there. And all this time they're battling. This is just allowing Pez just to edge on up. So you can see that delta time just slowly getting nibbled away by Mr. Pez, currently in P3. He has picked up a penalty of his own, but I think he'll throw his hat into the ring and challenge come the next batch of pit stops.
Yes, indeed. Only 3 drivers, no, 4 still going, who have not picked up a penalty, and that is the Williams driver, Lorne Yennians, and Mr. Ford, who is still looking set to take the win, and he looks like he wants to do it on track because he's gaining all the time on Dacey down the inside, and he's going to pull these past before they even get towards the first corner. Nice stuff there for the McLaren.
Further back, we got a freeway. It looks like it's Celtic,
My
Western,
goodness.
James. And yeah, it's a bit kinky here. We've got a Ferrari sandwich, or so it was. The Ferrari now comes out first.
He's trying to break away from that one, wasn't perhaps enjoying it. And it's the 2 racing points left to scrap with each other as the Ferrari makes a mistake there, and that allows James to get right up onto the back of him, but can't make a move coming through the hairpin. That is turn 7. Turn 6. Yeah. Yanni Ans picks up a time penalty. That's his first of the afternoon, and that leaves us down from 4 to 3 drivers without a time penalty. Rest in peace.
So it's like Celtic will be under attack come turn 1. James is gaining, he's on the button, he's going to have DRS in a moment. Looks like Weston's maybe a tad too far back at this point. Here comes James.
Going to go to the inside for turn 1. He should be able just to go late on the brakes and get that move done. He has done, although the Ferrari flying back down the inside. Nicely done there. He'll compromise himself for the exit off turn 3, and that's going to allow James to get back through. He'll use the DRS to his advantage. I think we've got to watch out because Weston's looks like he wants to get involved and perhaps pass 2 of them. The door's just shut in his face. Ferrari driver of Celtic will now go around the outside of turn 5, and now Weston's gets involved, and James drops down to P6. It's Weston's up to P5. Celtic holds P4.
They're all getting a bit greedy, and this has allowed the hard runners now to get into the DRS. There was about 2.5 seconds behind these medium runners on the alternate strategy. And talking of the hard runners, Fronhoff picks up yet another penalty, so I think he's up to around 9 seconds now. It's going to severely compromise him come the end of the Grand Prix, but we're about to have a big train of cars moving up to 6 cars in this battle here for P4.
Yes, indeed we are, and we like to see that here. Still, obviously, those time penalties are going to be a massive factor in this one. We'll see. Fronhoff is now successfully within that DRS range, like you were just saying, so he can just cling on to the back of those guys ahead of him. And here comes Weston's, looking to the inside at turn 1, chooses not to make the send. Perhaps a wise call there, just to tuck in behind, and he will wait for an opportunity, perhaps now. Coming off turn 3 on the run up to turn 4, DRS opens once again. He's in the slipstream, he's gaining all the time, but I think he's just going to a bit too far back to make the send. They're not, these two perhaps not managing their batteries as well as they could be. They're all, to be fair, in that train quite low. And, it's going to be a massive benefit to guys like Yanni Ans, who have got a bit more deployment that they can use to make any overtakes.
Yeah, it's going to be key, saving something for the final push. Then final few laps. We're on lap 24 of 36, and it looks like Pez has really dropped off in terms of pace. He's now 3.3 seconds behind the lead of this Grand Prix, and expect him to pull the trigger pretty soon to get a fresh set of tyres if he's going to do it.
Yeah, and we are getting towards the point in the race now where you could get softs to the end. It's whether the drivers will want to. Perhaps they prefer the mediums, because it can often be a better race tyre. As we got racing down the pack there, as that is James in the pits. See what tyres he puts on. He is going for softs to the end. Oh, Cullen's left. Oh dear.
L. Pullen, 98.
Thank you. Sort of Celtic for a second, they get a little bit wobbly. Yes, I thought, but he's holding on nicely. as James passes Pullen, who has disconnected from this one. Not what you want to see for him.
Leader stays
As
out.
Daisy
Yeah, another lap.
pits.
Yep.
Oh, I left the braking quite late there, which you need to do, obviously, to be fastest into pit lane, but I thought for a second he might be picking up a time penalty, but he hasn't, and that's always good. And what tyres is he going to put on? It is soft tyres, and he's now going to try and undercut his rival and then pull away and into the distance to get that 3-second advantage that he needs to maintain the race win. And I'm again just going to quickly check the leader's warning count.
So Celtic and Westlands also decided to box on that lap. The undercut's going to be very powerful now with that fresh soft tyre, maybe a bit scrubbed in from qualification. Of course, you get around 3 sets of tyres for that as well. And how are we looking, man?
Mr. Ford has got no warnings still.
That's impressive. We've got retirement, pit lane.
Brazzy has given up the ghost after he was looking quite good as well, wasn't he? But then he made that crucial mistake of hitting the back of the leaders quite early on in the soft tyres, and that really threw him out of contention for this one.
So leader in the pits as follows him in. So front half on the hard tyres will be our race leader.
Let's see where Daisy comes out. There's some yellow flags, not sure what that was for. Perhaps Drazzy coming out of pit lane. It's Daisy then. Where will he come out in comparison to the McLaren? He's going to come out ahead of him.
He sailed on through.
By a long way as well. 2 seconds now. He's nearly got the advantage that he needs already. And that is really good for him. I have 1 older tyres now for the rest of this race. But he can now push on and try and just extend that lead to beyond 3 seconds so he can take this race win.
Looks like a sprint to the finish. Maybe he's going to see Pullen and Tommy in the pit lane. They'll be the last of the drivers to pit. Make their final stop of the afternoon. Now on lap 27 of 36, so 9 to go here in the Autodromo Hamilton Rodriguez. And a dicey race so far. Strategy has split the drivers, the gaps a bit at the moment, but expect that to converge. Daisy now 2.7 seconds behind the hard runners of Lucky Lambert and front half. Celtic closing in on the back of James up ahead of him, both on the same strategy here.
Daisy sets the fastest lap of the race, and you know what's really great there, just as you said about the gaps between the guys up front, the gaps disappeared on the timing tower. That was really helpful. Thank you, Codemasters.
On Ludlow, on them old hard tyres, 14 laps old. Should be like taking candy from a baby. And also in the background we've got James. He gets passed by Celtic. Celtic now taking P7.
Yeah, nicely done there. And something that's going to be crucial for Daisy is clearing these hard runners as quickly and as efficiently as he can, not losing any time to the guy behind, in order to build up the advantage that he needs.
Yeah, you want to catch him at the right optimal moment, and he's going to have to go for it here now. He's going to have the DRS, he's got the speed, the momentum, he's going to have to try and send it up the inside, and yes he does, down into the stadium section. That was a critical move there for the Williams driver, and well executed.
Now what he'll be looking to do here is just sort of tow the Haas down the straight in the hopes that Mr. Ford cannot get the move done. But I do believe he will be able to. He'll just use whatever battery he's got. But saying that, Roon doesn't have a lot of battery at the moment. He's already below 10%. He will be picking up the D-rates now on his battery, and that means he's got a reduced power output, and he's not going to be close enough. Oh, the Haas driver might play a key factor then in this one, in holding up Mr. Ford.
It's going to help him recharge. There's going to be another car on the alternate strategy that they're going to have to contend with. That is front half, currently leading this Grand Prix. Down the inside, quite a late move there by Rooney, but we know that's his strength. He's hard on the brakes, and look how close it is now. That 2 seconds is just evaporated.
Yeah, he's already closed up to the back of the Williams, and he's just got to keep it clean. Does Rooney, staying close to the guy ahead is all he's got to do. He's getting really close on the track limit, but he's doing it perfectly. He's not going over them, and that's what's giving him the advantage here in this race.
It was really well drilled around this circuit, and this is what we was talking about earlier. Dacey getting really held up now by front half, and he's going to be, you know, under attack from Mr. Ford. Come down the main straight, and you can see and front half trying to cover off the inside line, but he's fighting a losing battle, and it's compromised Dacey's exit speed out of the final corner and all the way down this main straight. And here comes Rooney. He's going to get the position as well. Front half is going to lose 2 for the price of 1 come turn 1.
Yeah, and that is Ford up into P2 and just 6 cents off the lead, and he's going to get the DRS here on this straight, and he is gaining. He's using his battery, might be able to take the race lead back here. He'll go to the inside. Can he go late on the brakes? He's going to go later than Dacey. Leaves space for the Williams, who may now just slam the door on him on the exit. No, leaves plenty of space at the McLaren far enough alongside, and round the outside goes Ford, and that is him through surely into the race lead.
Good driving from both of them. Very respectful. Maybe a bit too respectful. You want them to get their elbows out sometimes. But Ford now 1 lap younger tyres as well. That's going to be critical.
And might just allow him to sail away into the distance. Dacey will have to keep pushing, and perhaps it's a little bit of a dirty tactic, you could argue, but sometimes just going side by side with Rooney in those places where you wouldn't expect it, force those mistakes, perhaps forced him off track a couple of times where it's best fit, and just hope he picks up a warning for it.
Yeah, Dacey's going to have to try and time this one right. He knows he can't win it really on track here. It's going to be hard to pull out 3 seconds on Ford, so he's going to have to try and pressure him into that mistake. Westerns as well, having a little battle with his teammate.
Dacey's very close to the back of Ford, going through the middle sector now. He's just not quite close enough to make a move, and unfortunately for him, that might just be how he loses this win. I'm going to check his warnings as well, actually. Just want to see if he's close to picking up another penalty. He is only 1 warning away from a second penalty, and that really would be curtains. Rooney continues to run warning free.
Unbelievable.
This guy has turned up to Mexico and not picked up a warning. You don't do that. That's unheard of.
So on the penalty front, of course, Dacey with 3, front half on 9, Lucky Lambert on 6, Pez 3, Celtic 6, Weston's on 15, James on 12, Yanni on 3, Lawn is clean, Ludlow on 9, Pullen on 3, and Tommy on 6.
Dacey within half a second of the car ahead, but it just won't be close enough again to make the move. And every lap he sits behind the McLaren, it's 1 lap less that he could try and pull away if he did get in front. And I think that is just going to cost him in the end here.
Yeah, it looks like he's quite content with P2 as it stands, Matt. You know, he knows he's on the verge of an extra penalty, which could relegate him further down the order. Saying that, front half has really slipped back now, 6 seconds. It was only 3 seconds a lap or so ago. And them hards really going off fast.
Yeah, those 2 who did stay out, of course, on those hard tyres, they put them on the safety car period, and they've now got guys coming up behind them, such as Pez, Celtic, and Westons, and his teammate James. 2 racing point drivers really struggling in terms of penalties as well. Westons at 15 and James at 12. They're down in 7th and 8th at the moment, but yeah, I'm not sure they're going to have those positions by the checkered flag.
Everything starting to settle down now into the last stages of the race on lap 33 or 36. Here in Mexico, Ford with a bit of a lock up there, manages to compose himself, and Pez now within a DRS shooting range. It's a bit wide, that might have been a warning now, and closing in on the back of the Haas up ahead of him. You can smell a podium.
Yeah, the podium may well be there for Mr. Pez. He's got these guys on penalties anyway. Only on 3 seconds for Pez, 6 for Lambert, 9 for the Alfa Romeo of Thrum Half. He doesn't have to make these moves if he doesn't want to, but I think he will. He's got that massive pace advantage, so it shouldn't be too difficult for him either.
Yeah, it's like being 5-0 up, and you don't have to score the 6th goal, but you're still going to tap it in, aren't you know?
Why not? You just poke it home, get that 6th goal. Go on, Pez, get the 6th goal, get the 6th goal. Here comes Pez, and he's got number 6. Down the inside he goes into turn 1, and he's up into P4.
Talk about poke it home. Talk about me, Matt. It's terrible. So B Ford really starting to stretch his legs, and it's just hovering around 1 second now. I think Dacey won't fight this one too hard.
No, probably not. Is anyone else close on track? The racing points have been really close all race, haven't they?
I think that's cost them.
Yeah. Yeah, they've raced each other quite a few times, gone side by side, and they've picked up those track limits penalties, and they've lost time, and unfortunately, come race end, wow, are they even going to have points? Oh, they are going to go racing side by side. James down the inside of Weston's. They are still battling each other on track at least. They're probably enjoying themselves, so fair enough. It's Weston's though who's going to get the DRS now, and that should be him able just to breeze past on the run down to turn 1, but just go to the inside, but he'll get it down on the straight, and that's Weston's back ahead of James.
They're going to be in danger of losing out to Ludlow at this point if they carry on battling for these final few laps, as Pez is creeping on up to the DRS or front half as well.
Indeed he is. Mr. Pez currently P4, looking to make that P3 on the road, going for what would be the goal number 7, if we're going back to our previous, I don't know what you'd call it, analogy. That's a nice word.
Yeah, analogy.
There you go. You're the brains of the operation here. Pez gaining all the time. He should be able to get this one down on the straight. Does he have the battery to do it? He's about the same as Thron Half, but that DRS advantage should make it nice and easy to do. A run up towards the first corner, out the last corner. They'll have the advantage on traction with those soft tyres. They won't be fresh anymore. It's going to be feeling the wear on them. He is using his overtake button. Run it down to 0%. Dacey has now picked up that final time penalty. So that will be him finishing in P2 for sure. Although we pretty much knew that anyway. And Pez there, not able to get goal number 7.
Yeah, both drivers really suffering with their ERS management, their energy recovery systems right now. Like Matt said, you run it down too low, you're going to start to lose horsepower. It's going to be harvesting down the main straight, and that's going to be taking power away from the crankshaft itself. And as you can see, Pez kisses the rear end of front half, who does not like that at all. The car getting sideways. Pez has a little shake of his head there behind him, saying, "Come on, move!"
And that was a bit more of a shake of the car than a shake of the head there. He just going side to the side like a madman. I don't know if Pez picked up any damage from that. I don't think he did, so he should be fine. Yeah.
Rudy!
The McLaren on the last corner.
Win!
Yeah, so we both missed that. Well, I did at least. B4 crosses the line, wins the Mexican Grand Prix. Dacey P2 with his 6 seconds of time penalties. Front half crosses the line P3 with Pez, who takes it on post-race penalties. Lucky Lambert jumps in as well, puts himself P4, front half down to P5. Celtic P6, Weston's 7th on track. Now loses first to his teammate. Yanni Hans then jumps to P7. Lord, is he going to take these guys as well? He might be a bit touch and go.
I think he may get one of them. We'll have to find out.
Crosses the line, and he doesn't. By 0.2 of a second, misses out, and it stays P10. Didn't even realise it was the last lap.
We're so engrossed in the Grand Prix, and some good battles coming to fruition. Celtic, from starting last, made his way back up the order, had a few tiffs throughout the race, a bit of argy-bargy, but brought home a solid race result there today. Any thoughts on your driver of the day though, Matt? Anyone who really jumps out for you?
The guy who didn't pick up any warnings at Mexico might be a good shout. The race winner, Mr. Nearly called him Rooney again. Mr. Ford, as I've now been calling him. He's taken the win. He's done it in style. No warnings at the Mexican Grand Prix is not an easy task, to say the least, so fair play to him. Dace did a good job, but unfortunately those track limit penalties cost him, and then he didn't even get it done on track anyway, so it's still a very strong drive for our race winner.
Yeah, congratulations to Ben Ford on the victory here at the Mexican Grand Prix. He further cements his position in P1 in the drivers' title fight here today. Dacey playing the long game, brings home P2, and yeah, your driver of the day surely has to be B Ford with the smooth operation, no warnings, no penalties, no nada. Did he pay off the FIA? We'll never know, but let's get him in for an interview.
You can get in for an interview. I've timed when I have to go so perfectly that I've actually got to go now. So I'll say goodbye. Cheers for having me on again, Rich. I will see you in a bit.
Well, thank you for joining us, Matt. We'll see you again next week, we do hope. But your final order today is B4 Dacey, Pez Lambert. And we have front half Celtic, Yanni Jans. We've got James Westons, Lawn with the final point, then Ludlow, Pullen, Tommy Real, Drazi, Givads. We've got Aki, Vettel, and Maitland, who didn't finish the Grand Prix, unfortunately. And that's been your Mexican Grand Prix. Vamos! What a Grand Prix we had. Some good battles out on track. A real breaker of a circuit. We've got Dacey in the house. Please include your audio, sir.
Hello, Matt. How you doing?
Good day, mate. And welcome to the booth. Another sterling performance from you, Dacey. You had some real good battles today with Mr. B Ford out front. And where did it slip away from you?
I mean, it's got to be the penalties. I've had a look, and Beeford just didn't get. What, did he not get a single warning the whole way through the race?
One warning.
One warning. That's just ridiculous. Nah, especially when I'm pushing that hard, I make mistakes. So I think that's how I lost it, really, the penalties, and then I kind of couldn't push at the end. But yeah.
No, but once again, some excellent pace from yourself, a really good showing, and yeah, it's one of those circuits. I mean, Ben, how do you do it, mate? How many laps of practice have you put in for this race? Tell us about it.
I've put in quite a bit of practice this week, not gonna lie. Because after last season, it was just not a great race. So I was like, can't let that really happen again. So, but the thing is, in practice, I struggled to not get invalidation in my laps. So I was quite surprised I did it, but I'm happy I did.
Yeah, of course, starting on pole position, you lost out early on, slipped down to P3. You had some work to do out there. How was it? Did you have some fun?
Yeah, it was a good race. Obviously, well, Dacey as well for second. It was a great race all race, to be fair. I don't think I even took a breath apart from the safety car. So, yeah, it was a good one. Especially if you're trying to keep in the limits while battling. It's a good race. The start was shocking as well. Horrific.
Yeah, we didn't know if we was ever going to get going at the start of that Grand Prix. Of course, the first one we just sat there. The second one we sat there as well, twiddling our thumbs. But we finally got going, and I thought that caught a few people out. The suspense and action there. But a thoroughly thrilling Grand Prix. I don't know if Pez has joined us. Is he in the party?
No.
But a good result from Pez as well to get himself up onto that podium here today. What have we got next week, boys?
Got France next week, so that'll be a killer as well. Horrible.
Viva la France. So
yes.
Ben has got France twice in the same week. He's going to go there in his ACC. Catch him on Wednesdays. I'm sure he'll be streaming on his host channel around Paul Ricard, a slightly different configuration. Then we'll be heading back there next Sunday for round 5 of the Republic of Motorsport. Same time, same place, 4:30. Don't miss it.